Howdy tribe! Keeping up with my quick and dirty tutorial series that I started a couple weeks ago, this week I wanted to actually explore hand axing with you. Obviously, as you well know, the Axxis is not like any traditional knife or axe you've ever seen before. It clearly looks very different, and the way you hold it and the way it feels in hand is very different, and as a result, of course, the function of it's going to be different. With that in mind, I wanted to dive into why this is different, and of course, like its name suggests, it is because this tool, unlike anything else before it, actually relies on axial rotation to work. So, first off, what is axial rotation? The best way for me to describe this to you, think about a wheel rotating along an axle. I mean, think about it just like underneath a vehicle. That's literally axial rotation, where you have spin occurring around a central axis. And so, with that in mind, the axis in this case, or the central axial point that's where the rotation is occurring, is actually one of your fingers, and that's based off of two different grip options. Of course, I've mentioned this in some earlier videos. You have a four-finger grip option, which, as you can see here, as I put my hand on closely, you would have two fingers, your middle and your pointer finger, forward of the trigger, and then your ring and pinky finger here behind that trigger. And this is the grip option that I would recommend for most of you people when you start opening your Axxis up and you take it out to start being on it. It's going to feel a lot more comfortable, a lot more natural, and a lot easier to hold on to. Now, the reason I call this the beginner grip, the four-finger beginner grip, is because even though you are still going to get axial rotation, you see that that twist? Even though you're still going to get it, it's not going to be as dramatic as it would be if you actually just had the three-finger grip. So I'm going to do a little chopping here just to kind of show you what I'm talking about. But first off, I'm going to try the four-finger grip and let you see what that looks like. So, as I previously said, both those fingers forward of the grip, and two fingers in behind. I just have a old dead fallen tree here, so I didn't want to chop down anything fresh or green. But I'm going to try doing two different chops so you can actually see what they look like side by side. So first off, the beginner four-finger grip here. So as you can see, I mean, that was, I don't know, 15 seconds of chopping, but as you can see, this is actually a lot more like a just traditional axe in terms of the points of motion here. I'm using my entire arm, I'm engaging my shoulder, my elbow, my wrist, and then I'm getting that last little bit of velocity, that last little bit of pop from that axial rotation, and that is where all the difference is made with the Axxis. Now, because I have those two fingers forward like that, it's actually a much firmer grip. And so I'm not getting as much whip inside my hand. It's not really rotating quite as much with the four-finger grip. Now, if I want to increase that, once I've gotten comfortable with the inherent motion of the Axxis and the way that it works when you're hand axing, once I've gotten comfortable with that, I can fall back here to this three-finger grip. And often when I'm trying to do like really impressive chopping for videos and have wood chips flying, all this stuff, that's the grip that I'll use. That being said, it can wear your hand out a little bit more because you've got a lot more motion going on. So I would encourage, if you are a soft hand, to maybe wear a glove, at least to start off, so you can get a feel for it. So here I'm going to go ahead and do another test. This is the three-finger grip. Already you can see with just moving my wrist there how much rotation you're actually getting in hand. I'll switch hands here so you can see what it looks like with the right hand. Can you actually see that little bit of like whip pop action that's occurring there at the end? It's a very loose grip, and that will actually also feel unnatural as well, but with a fairly loose grip, it's rotating somewhat freely here in your hand, and it's that final little bit of edge velocity that, like I said, really makes the difference here. So now, I'm going to try doing a little bit of three-finger cutting action here. So, again, maybe 15-20 seconds of chop in there. I don't know if you can actually see that in camera, but but I can really feel it in my hand. It's a huge amount more motion with that 3-finger grip than with a 4-finger grip. And if you actually want to come over here, take a little bit closer look here, come around to the side, you can actually see how much deeper the cut is. Now, granted, I was kind of all over the place up here, but it's substantially deeper in there than with the 4-finger chopping. So, part of the reason that this works the way it does, and the best example that I always like to think about is Bruce Lee. He wasn't the biggest or the strongest guy, but he was incredibly fast. And because he was able to generate a huge amount of velocity with his punches, his kicks, because he was so quick, that translated into enormous impact, and it made him seem like he was hitting way outside, or punching way above his class, I should say. And the Axxis functions in a similar fashion like that. Although it does not, you don't engage it the same way that you would with a traditional axe or a hafted axe, you know, which this can also obviously be hafted. Even though you don't engage it the same way, because of that axial rotation, because of that in-hand motion, it's so much faster and hits so much harder than you would ever expect. So yeah, that covers pretty much, I think, all the bases here with a quick and dirty description of hand axing. I'm sure you guys will have some questions, and I look forward to receiving those, but in a nutshell, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. You guys stay safe out there.